Hey guys, welcome to today's show. We're talking about supplements. Question guys love asking about. Question guys love to see what's the next best thing that's gonna take them, help them improve their performance. But there's a lot that goes into this, and a lot of things you guys have to consider before jumping into simply taking supplements. And most guys looking to push the needle forward faster are always looking for, what supplements do I need to be taking? What can I take to get to that next level? And they think that supplements alone will get them to where they want faster. But this is only true when everything else is already dialed in. So listen up today to learn more about what needs to get dialed in before you even consider supplements, who should consider taking supplements, and what supplements you should consider taking to boost your performance. Now, supplements are just that. They are there to supplement your lifestyle. They're not the main course. And this is a terribly regulated industry, supplements in general. And some might already be familiar with this, but for those that aren't, there is no regulated industry that comes through and actually approves what these companies say are in their products to actually be in them. So places, and this has been seen throughout the history of supplements, and definitely in my lifetime, of products having to get removed, get pulled, because when they did get tested, they didn't have what they said to have in them. And a lot of times they had a lot of excess stuff in them, things like sawdust and different fillers and things that were added to, for who knows what reason. Like I don't get why. I mean, I get why that happens. It's cost driven, but it just baffles me that this stuff would actually happen. But with all that to be said, just know that what you're taking, first off, might not be exactly what you're getting. So a little side note, go with reputable companies, pay a little more for a quality supplement if this is something that you're choosing to take. That's my little side tangent, not going any deeper on it, but don't go for the cheapest bidder in this case, or really in any case when it comes to your health. Now, supplements are popular. They can help, absolutely. But so many guys want to jump to supplements before addressing what truly matters. And I get how tempting this can be, but I just want you to know that there's no amount of supplementation that can replace what works time and time again. And that's the tried and true, the foundations. And I know from experience, I used to take supplements out of habit, especially so playing college football. I was on all sorts of things. You had your protein, your BCAAs, your beta alanine, creatine, different things. Like, you take this before, take this in the morning, you have your whole regimen. I would spend hundreds of dollars every month on supplements that I had just researched briefly and was told I had to take, and thought they were best for. I was very proactive in this. I did a lot of research, but at the end of the day, I didn't really have a way to test if this stuff was working. I just took it because if it could give me even the slightest edge, sure, I'm gonna go for it. All approved stuff, no illegal supplements. But I was taking all this stuff, and I realized, especially getting out after being done with sports, is how much was this stuff really helping me? I didn't know. I was just taking all these things. What was actually giving me the benefits? Were there actually benefits? Was it just because I was training super hard and sleeping well and eating right? Like, I didn't have a way of knowing. So I was blindly taking these things without really knowing how they helped. And I've since taken everything away. For a long time, I've been off of all supplements. And to be honest, I haven't noticed a big difference. I haven't noticed a big decrease in my performance. I haven't noticed my performance just dropping. So it shows that we take these things, and sure, there's the placebo effect and all that, but physiologically, these things might not help as much as we think. And some of that's due to the industry. Some of that's due to these things that are just poorly researched, and we don't really know what the short or long-term benefits or consequences are to taking a lot of these things. And since then, I've smartly reintroduced the ones that matter most. And there's things, for me, I think, and I'm going to get into this later, but I think, creatine is a really well-studied one. And I think for anyone looking to improve in strength, that's something that I've reintroduced, that there's enough research for me to be confident taking that. But many things that you're taking, there's not a lot of confidence behind it. There's not a lot of science behind if you should actually be taking it. So let's dive into answering some of these questions in terms of what to dial in, who should take it, and what you should consider taking. So first off, talked about this in enough other podcasts. Unless this is your first one listening in, you should know that there's some main foundations that you need to dial in before even consider supplementation. And that would be your workouts, your training, and we'll consider general movement into that as well, daily walks, getting up, being moving, your nutrition, your stress, and your sleep. If you don't have those 4 things locked in, then hold off on consider supplementing until you get those things dialed in, because supplementation might boost your performance, might boost how you're doing, how you're feeling by, a fraction of a percent. These things, you get those 4 foundations dialed in, and I've seen people make like 80, 90% improvements in where they're looking to go in a short amount of time, because these things are the big foundations. There's a reason that they work. Those things have to be considered before you try and get the, that last little bit out. And this works with, nutrition. You see it all the time too, that people want to eat a bad diet, and then they think like, oh, if I take a multivitamin or something like that, then that'll just clear up all the inefficiencies I have elsewhere. And that's just not true. That's just not how the body works. So make sure you get those things dialed in before you even consider supplementing anything. Now, who should take it? I want to make clear that supplements are not necessary for anyone to take. I lived just fine without all of them for a long time. I know plenty. You can look through the history of time, and supplements were not always around, and people have been able to maintain pretty high level of physical performance, mental performance without any supplements. So just know that if you don't feel like you want to spend money or research into what the best ones are, or if you're against it for whatever reason, there's by no reason that you have to do it. And that's really the main point of this, is that they're probably not as helpful as you think. They might be giving you a little bit of an edge, but don't think that you have to take them. Now, if you are someone like a competitive athlete, if you're in a strength sport, a team sport, an endurance sport, then you're going to want to find some of those things that can help, and those things that can give you a little bit of a boost in recovery or in performance. If there's things that will help with that, then you should definitely consider taking that to see if you can improve, because when it comes to athletics, every little bit counts. Watch the Olympics and see how close some of these things are. There's so many things you got to consider that would go beyond what you would ever consider for the average person just looking to be healthy. Now, for those chasing performance goals, if you have a specific squat goal, a specific lifting goal, a mile goal, a marathon goal, some of those things you want to train for, then it might be beneficial to do. And for those looking to maximize lean body mass, which would probably be a lot of us, those looking to shed a little fat, put on muscle, then there are some certain ones you want to consider that could be beneficial. Now, that being said, what should you consider taking? Now, here are the only ones I would tend to recommend for people, and these are general recommendations. I'm, by no means an expert on this. I think your nutrition should be prioritized first. I don't think people need to take these, but for those that are insistent on it and those that are just looking to get strong and get healthy, excuse me, there's a few that I would consider at least looking into and doing your research on. And one being the most widely studied and consumed ones out there, caffeine. And this is something that can boost performance, can delay fatigue. We don't think of caffeine as a supplement, but it absolutely is. Now, caffeine can really work well for performance in that standpoint. So if you're not negatively affected from it, grab your coffee, grab your caffeine. I would recommend, you don't need a fancy pre-workout for this. Those are mostly just filled with other junk and things that don't really help. Just stick to caffeine, or even a caffeine pill if you're not into drinking coffee, but that can be something that can actually improve, especially on the endurance side of things, can delay some fatigue and actually improve your performance. Now, another one of the most widely studied supplements, like I mentioned briefly earlier, creatine. There's benefits that are evident in strength training work. So producing more force as relates to short efforts. Think like, in the 1 to 5 rep range, those more heavy efforts, but it's also seen some promising things in terms of the endurance world as well. So something to look into. Protein and BCAAs, so protein or branch chain amino acids. There can be benefits there if you really can't consume enough protein from food alone. If you're trying to reach protein goals and you're having a hard time doing it from food, maybe there's other health reasons. If you choose not to eat animal products, there could be different reasons why you have a hard time getting your protein needs. And in that case, supplementing protein can be beneficial. And BCAAs can be used if you're training fasted, if you're trying to preserve some muscle. Training fasted can break down muscle. So that can be reasons why you'd maybe take something like that before a workout. Now, lastly, other ones for general health, we recommend things like vitamin D and a high quality fish oil. Most people can't go wrong in taking both those things. Those things that are things that we tend to be lacking in just based on, even those with good diets, based on our culture and our nutrition, the food quality now, those are things that most people would benefit from. So sure, there's plenty of other supplements out there, but there's a reason that I only listed very few. And I'm not even saying that everyone needs to take these. I'm saying if you fall into one of those categories, consider researching more on this and see if that's something that you might benefit from taking. But for most people, no supplements are just fine, and stick to the ones that are better studied and that really work. And when you do opt for supplements, choose high quality, well-sourced ones. So remember, before you start thinking about what supplements to take, nail down the foundations first. Only then can you consider using supplements to boost your performance and help you get that edge that you might need. Now imagine only using supplements to give you a slight edge to a lifestyle that's already clicking on all cylinders. And that's what happens when you prioritize the lifestyle and the foundations first, and then you can actually harness some of the potential benefits that come with supplementation. But there's nothing wrong with just being all natural and crushing the game too. If you're looking for any more specific guidance as relates to your health, your training, your nutrition in general, go ahead and join other men getting their physical and mental edge back to reach high levels of performance inside and outside the gym. Check out the high performance health coaching program we have and set up a free strategy session by heading to the link in the show notes, menmadeformore.com/apply. You guys can fill out a quick application there and we'll be happy to jump on the phone and talk with you guys if you're looking to reach that next level in your health. As always, guys, I appreciate all of you. Thanks for listening in, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.